All right. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our meeting today. So I'm just gonna pass around the sign-in sheet, and then we will do introductions. Thank you. All right. I will go ahead and start. My name is Jennifer Lake, and I am the school counselor for 10th grade.
I'm Kathy. I'm Paul's mother.
I'm Sharika Harris. I'm the vice principal here at the school.
All right. All right. So our purpose for our meeting today is Paul is about to transition back into school after a week-long suspension. And we just want to put some things in place for him to make sure that he is successful and also so he won't be suspended again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to start off first with what you see at home, and then we'll talk about what we see here at Cambridge Optometrist.
So at this time, Paul has just been completely out of control. We're having a hard time talking with him. He's arguing a lot with us, his stepfather and I. He's, very withdrawn. He'll come home. He just goes right to his bedroom, slams the door. All he wants to do is, play his video game. He's been getting into it with his sisters. He has an older sister and a younger sister, and their arguments have gotten pretty hard to handle. I think that our biggest struggle with Paul right now is definitely just the disrespect, and dealing with his mental illness. It's new for us. We have never dealt with anything like this before, and so trying to be understanding of where he is and what he's feeling has been very tough for us. So I guess that kind of sums up what we're seeing. Just that disrespect and not wanting to talk to us.
Well, here at school, definitely I've noticed like a big change. Like he seems withdrawn. He definitely was like a social butterfly that I would say. Like he, would talk to his peers. Like you would just see him, like interacting with lots of people. Where now it's like I see disrespect with other teachers and staff. I see that occasionally when I'm doing my rounds, I would see him like, either sleep or disconnected from the classroom. So I do have concerns with him. I haven't really seen much as far as like the changes with his mental illness because I'm new to discovering that. So I'm sure we'll be able to see more with that. Right, Miss Harris?
Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you, Miss Kathy, for being here today. We do appreciate it. And you coming in, we just want to be able to collaborate with you to see what works and how Paul can show us, what he is actually capable of. Because like Miss Lake said in the beginning of the school year, he was a social butterfly, but unfortunately, his choices and those who he hangs out with have changed.
Yes.
And we see that to not be a good thing, as he's indicated that in some of his choices that he's made currently. But I do see that you're being the great parent, making sure he's getting the services that he needs ahead of time. So we do appreciate your support in working with Paul.
Thank you. All right, so at this point, before we get into the interventions, I want us to start off with his strengths first and then build from there to figure out like some of the interventions that we can do to help him.
His strengths. I haven't thought about that in a while. Paul is really smart. He struggles to stay focused, which is kind of a result of the ADHD. He doesn't particularly like authority. He doesn't like to be told what to do, but he is a very creative child, and when he has the freedom to be able to do the things he's interested in, then he can definitely do the work. He does not like to write, so that is a struggle with English class. But he really enjoys being able to be hands on. So when he's able to have projects where he can just use his hands, he's really good in that. I think that Paul definitely has the ability to be a leader. He has leadership qualities that we see a lot, not as much anymore, but that we've definitely seen him exhibit that. He seems to be kind of the ringleader in his current group of friends, which isn't a good thing. Getting suspended and kind of being disrespectful in the school building. He seems to be, really strong in that. But I would definitely say he has the capacity to be a good kid. He just is really struggling with, all these different things that are going on in his head.
You said he likes hands-on projects. Like,
Can
you share with us a little bit more that may help us in regards to his programming or his academics?
Yeah. He loves computers. Like I said, he comes right home and he'll jump right on his video game. But we had an old desktop that he took apart, put together. He just loves that kind of stuff. And probably because it has nothing to do with him writing. He likes to tinker with all the different parts. I know nothing about it because it doesn't interest me. But he loves computers. And so we try to use that as incentive for him. We'll get you this next game or this next whatever. And if you just, make better choices. And that doesn't seem to be enough. And I think that now that we've kind of gotten some components of this mental health thing from where we were before at our old location, I think that has given us a little bit more as to why he can't do that. Because before it was just, him not wanting to do it. But now we kind of feel like there's some other stuff going on.
Okay. Now you mentioned the mental health aspect of Paul. From the documents, it looks like you've applied for him to go to the mental health agency for the respite program. Can you explain why?
Just with the things that we've been seeing at home, it's become really difficult for us to give him what he needs. I don't feel that I'm qualified. I don't feel that I'm trained in this. I don't know anything about it other than what I Google. And at this point, I want to do everything possible to help my child. My husband doesn't understand it. He just feels like he's being a teenager and doing whatever he wants, and that's just what the generation does now. But I do believe that there's more to this, and so we've made the decision that in order to help him best, we might need to send him somewhere where people know what they're doing with this, and support him in that way. He doesn't see it that way, of course, but that's what we feel is the best decision right now.
That can't be an easy decision.
It is not. It is very tough. He's my baby. And I want him home. I want to see him. I want to put hands on him, but I also recognize that I can't help him. I can't help him, and that's a tough place to be,
But you are helping him, and this is the first step in sharing with the team what we can help you.
Thank you.
All right, so taking what you said about that kind of changes gears as to how we can help him here. So our next steps for him would be basically putting in writing for the mental health agency, like some of the things that we would like Paul to, I guess what we would like him to work on while he's there, as well as when he's working on his academics, some of the things that would help him.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's start with his academics first. All right, so you were saying that he is very smart. He's creative, hands-on, has leadership qualities, and he also likes computers. Okay. So for Paul, I'm thinking maybe him working. I don't want to totally, isolate him from others, but I would say put him like in a small classroom environment. Would you say that would work?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So definitely
He gets
small.
distracted very easy, and he does do much better when there's not a crowd around and he feels like he has to put on a show or he can't be embarrassed and things like that. And so he doesn't like to be wrong, which he's a teenager. He does not know everything.
Right.
So it's a tough balance to try and show him when he's doing something wrong. So I think that he does better when there's not a lot of people around. So I definitely think that would be helpful.
Okay. What about extended time on assignments?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think there's anything else we could add on as far as academics? We have a smaller classroom environment, extended time.
I would definitely say we check with his special education case manager to see what accommodations are already in place to see if there needs to be any other adjustments with your input as well.
Absolutely.
And the team, as it would be a team decision.
I agree. All right, so we'll definitely take a look at his IEP to see what they have on there and if there's anything that we could add or subtract to it.
And his IEP would go with him to the alternate.
Yes, it will travel with him. Yeah. As far as the behavior, would you think it would be good for him to have therapy while he's there?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's individual as well as family therapy.
Yes. I think that a couple of the programs we tried where we were living before, I don't know that they were as successful. They were more group settings, and not really that individual piece. So I think that he just needs somebody that he can open up to, and it's not going to be me. It's not going to be a stepfather. So it needs to be somebody.
And then also looking at Paul's record as well, I see that he had an incident where he actually brought marijuana to school. Now, is that still a concern with you?
Yes, because I had no idea that he was had any access to drugs or anything.
Okay.
That's actually what his father is incarcerated for. So
wow.
we've always talked about drugs and what that can do to you, and he sees what it's done to his father. So that was a surprise to me. So I definitely am concerned with that and don't really know what to do.
Okay. Well, luckily, the respite program, they do offer the substance abuse classes, so we'll definitely put that on there. That is one of our concerns as well.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So as far as our interventions, we have that at the respite program, he will receive individual and family therapy, as well as substance abuse classes, and then we're going to check with his IEP and his case manager to see if what's on his IEP, if that's okay going with him, or if there's anything that we need to add to it. Okay. All right. So I will make sure that I check with the school social worker to see if she can follow up with the application for the mental health agency. Because basically, based on his risk assessment, we think that he needs to be there as soon as possible.
I totally agree.
All right. Well, it is nice meeting you.
Thank you so much for all your help. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.